Imagine seeing your own face for the very first time, not in a photo, not in a mirror, but in the still water of a cave pool lit only by fire. For most ancient humans, that moment wasn't amazing. It was terrifying. Some ran, some screamed. A few never went near the water again. Why? To understand it, you have to forget everything you know about your own face. You've seen it 10,000 times. You know exactly what you look like. That knowledge is so normal, you never think about it. But that knowledge is brand new in human history. For almost all of our time on this planet, no one knew what they looked like. Think about it. There were no mirrors, no clean glass. If you lived 50,000 years ago, the only way to see your own face was to find water. Still water. And still water is rare. Rivers move. Puddles ripple. You needed a calm pool, a quiet moment, and enough light to see. Most people went their entire lives catching only broken, shaking glimpses of themselves. So picture it. You kneel down to drink, the water goes flat, and a face rises up out of the dark to meet you. Here's the thing. You don't know it's your face. You have no idea what your face even looks like. All you see is a pale shape staring back from under the water. It has eyes. It's looking directly at you. And when you move, it moves. When you lean in, it leans in. Something is down there copying you. Now put yourself in that body. You have a brain built by millions of years of survival. And that brain has exactly one job: keep you alive. It is wired to treat anything that watches you as a threat until proven otherwise. A pair of eyes in the dark meant a predator. A face staring back meant something is here with me. Your ancestors, who assumed the shape in the water was harmless, didn't always live to pass on their genes. The ones who flinched, who backed away, who felt that jolt of fear, those are the ones who survived. You are their descendant. That fear is your inheritance. And that's why the reflection was so disturbing. It broke a rule the brain trusted completely. Everything alive has its own body. Everything alive moves on its own. But this face had no body you could touch, and it moved exactly when you moved, like it was reading your mind. It wasn't behaving like an animal. It wasn't behaving like a person. It was behaving like something else. Now think about when this happened. Not at noon, in bright, safe daylight. Water goes stillest at dusk and at night, when the wind dies. So the face didn't appear in the warm light of day. It appeared in the dark, lit by a flickering fire, in the exact hours your brain was already braced for danger. Everything about the moment was wired to scare you. The stillness, the silence, the pale thing under black water moving in the firelight. Your body was primed to run before your mind even formed a thought. So the mind did what the mind always does when it can't explain something. It told a story. Across the ancient world, long after those first terrified glances, humans landed on the same idea again and again. The face in the water wasn't a copy. It was a spirit. It was your soul living just beneath the surface. Some believed the reflection was a second self, a twin that lived in the water world. Others believed that if you stared too long, the water could pull your spirit down and keep it. That's not a random superstition. That's a brain trying to make sense of something that genuinely did not fit anything it had ever seen. And these beliefs didn't fade. They hardened into rules that survived for thousands of years. Whole cultures came to believe that your reflection held a piece of your soul, and that anything which could show your face could also steal it. That's where the dread of broken mirrors comes from. That's why, in many places, people covered every mirror in the house after someone died, terrified the lingering soul might get trapped in the glass. Think about how deep that fear had to run to survive into an age of electricity and clean glass. It started at the edge of a dark pool, in a mind that had no other way to explain what it saw. And here's the part that should give you chills. That fear never fully left you. It's still buried in your head right now. You felt it. You walk past a mirror in a dark room and your heart skips for half a second before you realize it's you. You catch your reflection in a black window at night, and something in your chest tightens. You stand in a bathroom at 3 a.m., and for one irrational moment, you don't want to look up. None of that is an accident. That is the same ancient alarm your ancestors felt at the water's edge, firing off thousands of years later in a species that now has mirrors in every room. Because your brain never actually updated. It learned to tolerate reflections. It never learned to trust them. Deep down, underneath all your modern calm, a part of you still treats that face as something that shouldn't exist. And there's a reason that instinct ran so deep. In a world without mirrors, your face wasn't yours. It belonged to everyone but you. Your tribe knew your face, your mother knew it, your enemies knew it. You were the only person alive who had never truly seen it. Your face was the one thing about you that you could never check, never confirm, never know. So when it finally appeared, rising out of a pool of black water, it didn't feel like you. It felt like a stranger who happened to share your every move. That's a deeply unsettling thing to meet, a stranger wearing your movements, a person-shaped thing with no body, something that only exists when you look and vanishes the second the water breaks. If you had no concept of reflection, no science, no glass, no explanation at all, tell me honestly, would you have stayed calm? Or would you have backed away from the water too? This is what makes ancient humans so fascinating. They weren't stupid, they weren't primitive. They had the same brain you're using to watch this right now, the exact same hardware. They just met the world with none of the answers we were handed for free. Every strange thing had to be explained from scratch. And a face in the water, with no body and no name, was one of the strangest things a person could meet. So, the next time you glance in a mirror without a second thought, stop for just a moment. Remember that you are doing something almost no human in history could do. You are looking straight at your own face and feeling nothing at all. That calm isn't natural. It's learned. It's brand new. And somewhere underneath it, the old fear is still there, still watching the water, still waiting for the face to move on its own. Your ancestors feared their reflection because their brains were working exactly as designed. The real question isn't why they were afraid. It's why you stopped being afraid, and whether that fear is really gone or just sleeping. If this made you look at your own reflection a little differently, you already know what to do. Subscribe, and let's keep digging into the strange, forgotten truths about the humans we used to be.